A college professor once looked at a business plan and said it would never work. The idea was too simple to survive. One restaurant, one meal, chicken fingers, and nothing else. No burgers, no salads, no safety net. He gave it the lowest grade in the class, a B-, and warned the two students behind it that no restaurant could live on a menu that small. One of those students was Todd Graves, a competitive kid from Baton Rouge who was never the top of his class and who carried a quiet need to prove himself in ways nobody could argue with. Since high school, he had worked fry stations in local restaurants, and in that grease and noise, he noticed something everyone else had missed. At every restaurant he worked, the chicken finger basket was the most popular item on the menu, and it was always treated like an afterthought, a kid's meal dressed up as a side dish. He had studied at the University of Georgia before transferring back home to Louisiana State, and college life became his real classroom. He watched what students actually wanted, not what a menu board said they should want. Graves believed that if you stripped away everything else and put all your energy into one meal done perfectly, you would not lose customers. You would win them for life. His professor disagreed. So did the bankers. Graves and his co-founder, Craig Silvey, put on cheap suits, carried a briefcase, and walked into every bank in Baton Rouge. Every single one said no. The bankers said, "It's not going to work. You need to have a bigger menu," Graves later remembered. "They all told me no. No collateral, no equity, too risky." They wanted him to hedge his bets. He refused. He had a vision nobody would fund. Conventional wisdom said a wide menu was safer, that it caught every customer who might veto a narrow one. Graves thought the opposite. He believed depth would always beat breadth if you were willing to bet everything on it. So he decided to fund it himself with whatever his body could earn. To pay for a restaurant nobody believed in, Graves took the hardest, most dangerous work he could find. He became a boilermaker at an oil refinery, working 90-hour weeks in brutal, exhausting conditions. But the money still was not adding up fast enough. So he went further. He traveled to Bristol Bay, Alaska, and became a commercial sockeye salmon fisherman. Picture a young man standing in freezing water, hauling nets through 20-hour shifts, running on almost no sleep, risking his life on the open sea. "I'd work 20 hours a day," he later said. "I knew if I didn't make this money, I couldn't open my dream." He was not just saving money. He was betting his life on an idea a professor had already told him would fail, and bankers had already refused to touch. Every freezing hour on that boat was an argument with the men who said no. And when he finally had enough saved, he packed up and went home to prove them wrong. Graves returned to Baton Rouge and found a rundown building near the LSU campus. With almost no money left over for labor, he did the work himself. He laid brick, painted walls, and built the interior alongside friends who believed in him when almost no one else did. He originally planned to call the restaurant Sockeyes Chicken Fingers, a tribute to his time in Alaska. A friend told him bluntly that it sounded like a seafood restaurant, not a chicken one. So Graves named it instead after his yellow Labrador retriever, Raising Cane. On August 28, 1996, the doors finally opened. They called that first location the Mothership. Graves and his small crew were terrified. They had no idea if college students raised on wide, safe menus would accept a restaurant built entirely around one meal. The kitchen was small, the team was thin, and there was no room for error. Every sacrifice he had made, the refinery, the freezing boat, the years of rejection, came down to this one night. If a friend had not talked him out of the seafood-sounding name, none of it might have mattered at all. Instead of an empty dining room, the line wrapped around the building. The exact students Graves had spent years studying understood the idea instantly. The kitchen ran out of food. The crew scrambled to keep up with the sauce recipe on the fly. But the restaurant survived because it only had to master one task, and it did that one task fast. As Cane's grew, consultants pushed Graves to add spicy chicken, burgers, salads, anything to widen the menu and lift margins. He refused every single time. Adding items meant slower drive-through lines, messier supply chains, and a diluted identity. Saying yes would have meant his professor was right all along. So he trademarked a phrase for his philosophy: one love, one meal, perfected forever. We do one thing, he said, and we do it better than anybody else. He built a culture to match the menu. Employees became crew members. Managers became restaurant leaders. A program called Cane's Love poured resources into crew appreciation and local communities. Many of today's senior executives started as fry cooks, including Graves himself, who still visits restaurants and works the fry station in uniform. Even the brand's growth followed the same disciplined instinct, expanding first through college towns that felt like Baton Rouge, and staying mostly company-owned instead of franchised, so the quality and the culture never slipped out of his hands. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina destroyed 21 of Cane's 28 restaurants. Graves faced two crises at once: tracking down every crew member to make sure they were safe, and saving a business that suddenly stood on the edge of collapse. Crew members who had lost their own homes still showed up to help rebuild the restaurants in Baton Rouge and New Orleans, forging a loyalty that outlasted the disaster itself. It was the same bond that had formed years earlier, back when the original crew hand-prepped chicken through all-night shifts before the company could afford proper equipment. Years later, the pandemic forced another gut check. Dining rooms closed. Drive-through became the only option. Chicken shortages threatened the single product the entire company was built on. Graves poured his own money into a show called Restaurant Recovery, helping struggling, family-owned restaurants survive the same crisis he was fighting. Every emergency tested the same question the bankers had asked decades earlier: was one menu item too fragile to survive? Each time, the answer was no. The narrow focus that once scared off investors was the very thing that let Cane's adapt without ever losing itself. Even a legal fight in Hobart, Indiana, where a rival's lease tried to ban any tenant from selling deboned chicken, could not stop a company that had already survived a hurricane and a pandemic. Cane's sued, and it opened anyway. Today, Raising Cane's has grown from one small building near LSU into more than 700 locations, generating billions of dollars in system-wide sales every year without ever going public. Its restaurants rank among the highest earning in the industry, many topping $5 million a year each, trailing only Chick-fil-A. A flagship store now stands in Times Square, and musicians, athletes, and actors have become unpaid ambassadors for the brand. Against giants like Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, and Zaxby's, Cane's does not try to out-innovate anyone with new sandwiches or breakfast menus. It competes on pure throughput. One protein means almost no food waste. New crew members learn the job in a fraction of the time it takes at a typical fast food chain. And because the kitchen never has to juggle complicated orders, the drive-thru simply moves faster than almost anyone else's. None of this makes Cane's beyond criticism. The menu is high in sodium and fried carbohydrates, with no healthy alternative in sight. And like the rest of fast food, it faces real questions about wages for frontline workers. But those are the honest costs of a business that never pretended to be anything other than exactly what it is. Graves is a billionaire now. He still puts on the uniform. He still works the fry station. He still calls himself the head fry cook before he calls himself the founder. The restaurant is still named after a dog, and 2 more dogs have carried that same name and that same mascot role since, a small, sentimental detail sitting right at the center of a multi-billion-dollar company. Back in that LSU classroom, a professor once said, "A restaurant this simple could never survive." He was not wrong about the risk. He was wrong about the man taking it. Todd Graves did not need a bigger menu. He needed one thing, done better than anyone else, and the refusal to ever let it change. Thanks for watching. What story should we cover next? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.